What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and we're back with the match. I'm trying to stay excited for you guys, but I'm honestly just devastated. But all right, I need to roll on here. We're back with what we always do after a game. We're back with our 5 takeaways, and it was on the Bayern Munich Borussia Dortmund game where Bayern just won 3-2, and it was honestly a roller coaster of a game. Like, it was actually a very good watch, especially for a neutral. For myself, I was all over the place. I was probably a little too intense in that watch along. So, yeah, sorry about that. I was very dialed in. I'm always like that when I watch Bayern play, but it was a good game. It was a good watch and a disappointing result, which I'm gonna go lay down after this. So let's just dive right into it. Let's start off with my 5 takeaways. My first takeaway from the game happened even before the game started, and that was the starting 11. I had no idea why Favre went with Witsel and Delaney. Everyone wanted to see De Hoed start there. So, I mean, and I'm doing this takeaway with me knowing exactly what happened, because I don't know what's going on with De Hoed. He didn't even come off the bench, but he is one of our most informed players. There's no reason he shouldn't have started with Delaney unless he was injured. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys do know the reason why he didn't even come off the bench. But for me, that was a huge missed opportunity because those two were clicking like no other. He's such a better player than Witsel to link up between the midfield and the attack. Witsel is more defensive. His game is slowed down with his pace and the age, and it just didn't make any sense to me. On top of the fact that I wanted to see Hazard start over Reina. Now, Reina did have a decent game. He made some clever runs. He had a couple decent balls, but all in all, I just feel like the delivery of Hazard just would have been a little bit better, and I was just disappointed with the way that Favre went. It was still a strong starting 11. They played to their strengths, but I just feel like those two players could have made the difference. So we're going on to my second takeaway here. Will be with the substitutions. We'd like to touch on this because Favre's known for making very poor substitutions, and for me, it was another mislook. And again, this comes from the De Hoed situation. I don't know what it is, but the subs I wanted to see was De Hoed, Hazard, Brandt. Made sense to take off probably Reina. Delaney made sense to take him off because he had the yellow. And then probably Royce or Sancho, depending on how they were playing. But instead, he brought on Jude, who really didn't bring a whole lot. He's 17. We saw the way he performed in his opening Champions League game. He is very young, very talented, don't get me wrong. But in a game like this, there's no reason why De Hoed couldn't come on. If he's fit for the bench, I don't know. I was just totally torn when Bellingham came on. Unfortunately for Bellingham, he didn't bring much to us, which comes with experience with the kid 17, and I just did not like that substitution whatsoever. And then the other substitutions came on later when they did, and I didn't have a big problem with them. I would have brought on Hazard a little bit earlier, and I don't know. It just something with Favre he does over the few years when it comes to substitutions. It just something that mind boggles me, and for me it was a big miss today, and it was just that player that we needed to have and that energy that De Hoed can bring, and it sucked. But going to my third takeaway from the game was just the openness of the game. And the thing, and this is a positive / neutral kind of takeaway, and it's just because two teams going at it in great form, good attack on Bayern, great defense on Dortmund, vice versa. It was an even game, and the game played out pretty evenly. It played in a 4-2-3-1, both teams. The possession was 51-49 for Dortmund. We each had about 14 and 13 shots on net. We created more chances because the stats don't show you the 2 goals that didn't count for Bayern, but we had 4 big chances missed while they only had 2. And it was an awesome game, honestly. It was a roller coaster of emotions because and look, we got the goal just before half, and then they broke our heart off a complete fluke deflection to make it 1-1. At halftime, you know that kills you. Coming out, and we just couldn't roll on from that, and they got a quick one again. And then they got the third, and then we brought one back, and it was just a huge roller coaster. Then they got the fourth, didn't count, and they had the opening one. It was honestly all over the place, but the good thing is that we went at it. We showed, like we did in the Super Cup game, that we can play with this team. It's going to take some tweaks to play with the formation to be able to get on the winning result. Because I've seen some people already commenting in the watch along saying we had 2 goals that didn't count. It's like, well, they didn't count. Yes, you built up and you put it in the back of the net. They were rightfully ruled offside. And at times it made our back four look a little shaky, but it could have went either way. I mean, Haaland was wrecking. Like Boateng and Alba, to me, didn't have their very strong game because they could not handle Haaland. The way he brings on the ball, he shrugs off defenders, he goes at goal. He played fantastic, and just the chances didn't go in the back of the net until, obviously, the late one he took. But the Royce chance as well, I mean, it could have went, honestly, either way. If that deflection didn't go off of Meunier, it could have been a completely different game. It was still a thriller, and unfortunately for us, it just wasn't meant to be. But going into our fourth takeaway, we're going to focus on Erling Haaland because, I mean, I say it time in and time out that he is the player that drives the team forward. And playing the way that we did in this game, I thought it was a very stretched game. And a lot of the success that we had was actually punting the ball upfield, watching Haaland literally just hold Boateng, who's a big man himself. And the kid's so young, but just pushing Boateng away from him, bringing down the ball, turn of pace, and his sprinting ability. He's so fun to watch. He had an excellent game. Even though his finishing wasn't 100% on today, but he was solely creating chances for himself. And it's incredible to watch, and I give him huge kudos, and he did have a beautiful ball that he took down, walked right around Neuer like he was not even there, and put it in the back of the net. And when those things could have went our way, a couple of hit chances could have went in the net, it could have been a totally different game. But for me, he's such a bright spot. He's such a talented kid, and it was just honestly funny watching him handle Bayern's defense pretty easily. But unfortunately, he couldn't take a couple of those chances, and Lewandowski, being the striker he is, took a fantastic header in the other end. But going on to our fifth and final takeaway from the game, for me, we're sticking with another player who I thought had an excellent game, and that is Rafael Guerrero, because he had 2 assists, I know, and he just was all over the place. And watching him shift into that left wing back role, into the left back role, has been seamlessly fantastic. He's openly said, I like playing as a left back because he's attacking. He's good on the ball. He likes getting into the space. When he plays as a left back, he doesn't get that ability to, as a wing back, to even go really wherever he wants on the pitch. He's got to have that defensive awareness about him. And the fact that he had a great game today on top of the 2 assists, which were both beautifully taken, he was electric. And he's the kind of player that I want the ball to be on when it matters. And late in the game, a couple times just before Bayern scored their 4th goal, which got ruled out, we had the ball and we kept cycling it between Akanji and Bellingham and Witsel. And I was like, get the ball to Guerrero. He's hot. Get it to Brandt. And it was just seemed very awkward to me that the ball was on the right side of the field when it absolutely should have been on the left late in that game to get in the box. And instead we just played with it enough times until Bayern got their 4th, ruled out. I don't know. It was just a huge roller coaster, but I'm very happy with the way that Guerrero has been able to shift into that left back role, because I still do think the 4-2-3-1 is the way to go going forward. You can't tell me that game was a dominant performance by Bayern. That was an even as even can be for me, and it could have, any chance that it could have happened, like if that ball from Alba didn't go off of Meunier's back, could have been a totally different game. If we took one of our chances early, it could have been a different game. Granted, they could have made it worse. Like that's the beautiful thing about this game, is it really could have went any other way. But I mean, I am happy with the performance that the boys put in. I love the show that we could compete with Bayern, but I'm absolutely gutted that we didn't get a result. And I really thought we were gonna, especially after Royce got that opener. And now we're back in the chase, and we're 3 points behind Bayern, and we're gonna have to rally here. But those are my 5 takeaways. So definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know how you think we're gonna be able to bounce back from this, because it obviously is a gut punch, and I mean we gotta keep rolling on and keep competing and keep showing that we can play with Bayern and can challenge for this title, because it's definitely not over. It is a step backwards, but hopefully we can roll on from that. So appreciate everyone who was with us during the watch along. It was a lot of fun communicating with you guys, and hopefully that you guys can just keep supporting the channel. We keep growing. We're on way to 1,000 subscribers, so definitely be sure to subscribe if you haven't. And for this comment, be sure to let me know what you guys thought of the game. Let me know what your takeaways are. And until next time, guys, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.